You are absolutely watching The Vibe, and I am one of your hosts, Stephanie D. Mackenzie. Today's show is going to be super interesting. We're talking about cults and crashes and all kinds of things. Oh my. But before we get to it, of course, I have to bring up the most amazing co-host on the history of co-hosting, and you know them as real, Amanda, Jada, and Sharon. What's going on? Hey, girl. I don't know why I'm so chipper because we got a lot to talk about, and I know for a fact that Jada's got something on her mind. So the floor is yours, sis. Let it off.
All right, y'all. So I have a current cult obsession. Don't know why it started, but we're here now. So I have gone down this rabbit hole. I've been watching, I just finished watching the Nature Boy documentary, the 46-part documentary. So I feel like I'm a pro at this point because there was so much that happened in that. And as I'm sitting here and I'm watching all of these documentaries about cults, and I'm seeing the way that not only are the people that are members of these cults are being preyed on and manipulated and taken advantage of, and like the aftermath of what happens after they leave these cults, I'm also feeling torn because I'm thinking I don't want to be a cult leader. Like, and I say that because I hear people talk about having a cult like following all the time when it comes to social media and having a platform, but I don't know how I feel about cults now that I have so much information about them and the stories of the people that have been in them. And so I want to talk about that because it feels like you can't avoid it. Like everybody's saying, cult like following, even just the way that the culture is set up, it feels like it's inevitable. But I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. So
Mm.
we need to talk about this.
I mean, oddly enough, Jada, my pantheon of management gurus when I was a professor were all cult leaders. Everybody from David Miscavige to Charles Manson to Jim Jones. At some point, I added Pablo Escobar, et cetera, et cetera. And part of the reason why I did that was not to sensationalize the heinous things that they did, but to show that the same principles that you can use to build this group of people that are out doing heinous things are the same principles that you can use to build a group of people that are not doing that.
Right.
And but I definitely understand feeling the way that you feel because at this point we haven't seen the redemption arc of that thing, right? It's like, it's a great idea, Stephanie. Yeah, you can use these in management. But when we really look at a cult, we don't see anything but negative. We don't see anything but bad. So I completely get what you're saying about that. And especially as it relates to social media and the work that you do. So I'm definitely with that.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if I got it in me to be a cult leader. Like and even just like the way that no, for real, y'all. I'm being so this is me pouring out my heart to y'all right now because I don't know if I got it in me. Like and even just like because the people that are in cults they are so dependent on the leaders. And like I don't want
Mm.
you to ask me, Jada, should I breathe? Jada, should I drink some water?
Exactly what you
Jada,
said.
should I
You
like
want to show up when you get ready.
you said what I would do what?
You just want to be able to show up when you get ready, and not when you come.
I want to clock in, do my job, and clock out. Like it just feels like you want, and I feel like I might be Steph, and I want
You
no
are
parts of
though.
it. I want people to free
But it's
themselves.
already happened. You've got what, 60,000 followers on TikTok. People look to your Utada to get their fix. You're a dopamine hit, honey. It's happened. And I understand that you don't want to fall into the dark side of controlling whether people breathe or urinate or defecate, because that's a lot. But you are an example of what it means, what all of us do. Every last one of us actually are cult leaders. People follow us that we don't know, that emulate us. People see me all the time. They're like, yeah, you know what? I saw your video. You did? Yeah. I looked at one day, one girl was wearing like this very loud purple lipstick that I own, right? And she's like, yeah, I got my inspiration from you. Okay. So I mean, we're doing it. Everybody's sitting here,
Fix your face, Jada.
we do. I know.
I,
You're not doing. You're not Charles Manson. Okay, let's get
Exactly.
about it. You're not Charles Manson, but you're the archetype that I've tried to put forth in teaching people that, hey, what they use in order to build this, you can use it too. You are using it, and it's just different. That's why I said we don't publicly see the redemption arc. There's not going to be a 46-part story on, or 46-part documentary on how you mistreated people and and controlled them to their detriment. That's not going to happen.
Right.
But the people that are following us, like, we have a responsibility to those people, to show up and to be a person of good moral character. And yeah, and that's not going to make a documentary. But yeah, we're
yeah,
still leading. We're still doing it. I don't know.
I feel like I think about like even how like it's in some cases they take a mind of its own. Like I think about how like the BeyHive was not initiated by Beyonce. Like the BeyHive is happening without her. And
True.
what I will say though, what I will say is that I do enjoy the fact that she is not inciting people to do one thing or another. She's just literally leading by being an incredible artist and being true to her art. Whereas there are some people who are activating their people to do certain things, and even in some cases where like even somebody like a Keith Lee, who a lot of times he tells his people, like don't go to this person's page. Like I don't want to tell you who this person is. I don't want y'all bothering them, or trying to cause them any disturbance. Like I don't want y'all to go after these people, but you can't always control that you can't always control what people are going to do. Like people are going to make their choices. And so I feel like even something like that would make me a little apprehensive, I guess, because I don't feel like I would be responsible for it, but it just feels like a lot comes with this. So maybe this is like me having like a little reckoning moment and like counting the cost basically of like what that means, because so much of it is outside of our control. So
That's a real realization.
Absolutely.
My question is, are you prepared? Yeah,
I think I'm here. Like,
that's
I don't know.
as an influencer or somebody that influences people in general that you have to have. Like, are you prepared for the influence that your presence carries? And that's what you really have to ask yourself. That's really what it is. And really, I don't think people fail to realize that everybody is their own individual influencer. It's just based on what you choose to show for your character. Your character is what you influence to people.
So do you feel like somebody being an influencer automatically makes them a cult leader? Like, is that just like par for the course? Like anybody who has a platform, like, does that automatically qualify you? Because my thing is this: if there are people who are going out of their way to, when we talk about like social media specifically, and they're going out of their way to tell you, build a cult like following, this is how you do it, X, Y, and Z, and they're giving you these different tips and strategies on what that looks like, do you automatically move into that space, or is there a certain charisma that you're supposed to have, or a certain way that you move that would then qualify it as we basically are cult leaders now? Like, is there a distinction between the two, or is it automatically once you become an influencer, that's what you are?
I think it's all in what you embody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been in this game now of social media for about 10 going on 11 years. And I have over 1 million followers across multiple platforms. So the way I look at it, I don't look at myself as a cult leader. I look at myself as an influencer, because that's what it is. I influence people. And that what I choose to influence is what I choose to give out to the world. And that's what I think. Cult-like leaders, to me, that's why you say a cult, that's an individual that's self-absorbed. That's what it is. To me, I feel like when you are actual influencer, like somebody that thinks about how you influence people, you move accordingly and as such. Now you have some that care to have like a cult-like following. No shade, but all shade. James Charles. And you think that you're invincible. You think that you're able to not be touched because you have a cult-like following. And that's the difference between somebody
full-blown knitter.
Why does she do? Why is it when I'm talking? It don't happen when Jada talks. It don't happen when Sharon talks. It don't happen when Amanda talks. It happens when I'm talking. Why? Give it up for our producer Stephanie D. Mackenzie, ladies and gentlemen. this is why when y'all watching us, catching this vibe, and all of this is going on, this is what we deal with to film for y'all. This is what we go through. This is what I hope you're enjoying this. I hope
Eat
it up. Eat it up.
He's a heavy knitter.
She's worse off camera. This is nothing. She's worse off camera. I just want y'all to know. This is how much we love y'all to film this show. We have to put up with this. Not sure. See, now there's no words up there.
Not me. Right here.
Yeah,
I didn't do it. There she is.
This right here. This one right here. She's to my left, technically, right here. This one right here. That's our producer. And she's yeah. Yeah. The buffoonery and the coonery. That should be acting crazy.
She's a knitter. Okay, sorry.
I swear to gosh, I'm using that. Like when I say faithfully, it's living rent free in my mind. It pays no bills.
Heavy knitter.
And it's in charge right now. Like it's definitely running the show.
Oh, for real. What's really running the show though, the fact that this cult stuff is going everywhere, and the fact that you can sign up and do a whole interview. Speaking of influencers, as Jade is talking about, because we were talking about before we came on camera, was the whole situation, was the documentary y'all telling me about Crash, right? That we were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now that has, I think that goes into like the cult like following, right? Because we were talking about how like social media in itself is a cult, right? You know, people come to social media to get guidance, to get information, to get education. And the entity itself to me is a cult, right? And then there are people who are pulled in and called to be influencers or leaders or cult leaders, right? And so I think that this ties into what we were talking about with the Crash. Homegirl, what's her name? Mackenzie Shirilla? Is that how you pronounce her name? Yeah, Shirilla. Like she had she was a social media presence or influencer, I guess. And to me, she embodies a lot of what the cult leader personality traits are, you know. Slow. Well, the thing is that I mean they're not slow. They're very.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
They're not slow. They're not slow.
Y'all got to forgive me. When they prepped me for this story, I was just like, "What? Do what?" And they just kept talking. I'm like, "Do what?"
But when you look at your typical cult leader, though, they're not slow at all. They're highly intelligent people.
No, not that one. We talking about Mackenzie.
Her. Oh yeah, her. Yeah, she is. I don't know what she is. I don't know what she is. She's also a knitter.
Usually the cult leaders, from what I've seen, they usually announce themselves as the leader. Like they think that they're entitled to be the leader or divinely appointed to be the leader. And they have not the best intentions, you know. They just want to be
most of the time, but not the best.
Never. It's never the best.
Most of the times it's not the best intentions. And I feel like, to Jada's point, I feel like there's a huge there's a difference between being a cult leader who is leading their people to, you know, destruction and demise, and sometimes, you know, unalivement, right? Versus a cult leader. Huh?
You mean America?
America is a cult.
I mean, since we don't talk about it.
And there's certain businesses that are cults, right? There's corporations that are cults, like Amazon is a cult. You know,
I'm guilty.
Apple's a huge.
Ooh, I am a faithful member of it too.
I'm in the cult. I'm not gonna lie.
Beyonce said it. America's got a problem.
Knitter, okay?
America got a problem.
Is the OG knitter. This is the first knitter of knitters that I've ever met.
The ultimate really knitter.
You know, but I feel like
original.
Absolutely. I just feel like you could be a cult leader inadvertently. I think people can make you a cult leader, and then you can make yourself a cult leader too, you know. But I feel like when the people do it, you have a responsibility, like what Stephanie said earlier, you have a responsibility to say, you make your own decisions. I am not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to share information that I have gleaned from my experiences and my own studies and education. But ultimately, I have to tell people that. They're like, should I do such and such? And I'm like, I can't tell you what to do, but you have the information that I shared. Go and tap into your own wisdom, your own inner guidance, and your own intuition, and follow that. And I feel like people who become cult members are people who are afraid to make their own decisions. They're looking to belong to something. They've never felt like they were a part of something. They may have come from really hard backgrounds and hard lives and such. And then they find this place where they can just be themselves. But then they are not able to be themselves because if they get into they have a cult leader like Nature Boy, right? Or like Till Swan. Y'all know who Till Swan is? You ever heard of her? Research her. She's another one. Boy. But when you come into those types of spaces, when you are not allowed to be yourself at all, I think that's where the murkiness and the danger comes.
I saw something recently where somebody was breaking down narcissism, and this was a doctor, y'all. So I ain't just some Joe Schmo from the internet. And he was one of the things that he said about narcissists is that they are constantly seeking validation. And one thing that I thought was interesting about homegirl Mackenzie is that in the documentary, she had a friend who had a huge following, like a couple 100,000 people that follow her. So she was already like in the game. And she gave her a lot of tips and things, like she basically like helped her to build her following. But one thing that I feel like she was constantly seeking, and it's terrible that she was just the person that she is, because she really is not a good person. Like, she's a terrible person. And but like knowing that one of the things that I feel like she was motivated by was this desire to be validated by people, because she didn't have any noble reason for wanting to be an influencer. Like, she wasn't trying to, she wasn't trying to make people better. She wasn't trying to impact their lives positively. She wanted the attention. And you can even see it in the way that she had no remorse for what she did, and her parents enabled it because they made her feel like her ish don't stink, and that she could do no wrong, and that everything is was happening to her. And so I feel like she definitely deserves the call out. I feel like she deserves the call out, but I feel like her parents definitely deserve a call out, because I am strongly believing that they need to be in a family cell because all of them together, all three of them were just contributing to the worst of the worst when it comes to society, because there is just no reason why you can see the type of person she was becoming. Like there was so much evidence, and they just like pushed it along and like built up this person who is a unaliver. And so I think that I definitely felt like she needed to have like her own special call out. And then that to me like is one of those things where I think when it comes to how people are navigating social media, what they're using it for, the whole cult like following thing, I feel like it's definitely worth considering what are your intentions with doing it, because there are a lot of people that are online for validation. And they have their platform, they built their entire platform off of being validated by people. And the people that are in their cult also want to be validated, and they're trying to validate them, but they're not getting that same validation back from that person. They're just being taken from. And so it's very interesting to me. I feel like this conversation has been definitely one that I'm gonna like, sit with and let it marinate. But I feel like I'm definitely under like that umbrella of I was put into this cult leader place because I ain't asked for none of this. I just wanted to help people look good and start businesses. I did not sign up to be leading a cult.
Oh, yes, you did. As soon as you turned the camera on, you knew what you was doing. Don't do that.
Not knowingly.
You do.
That's how I know you're not a real cult leader, because you're not sitting there plotting on how you're going to leverage these people against the afterlife. You're not stirring up vats of Kool-Aid, and I don't know how many of you have ever heard the Jim Jones tapes, but don't.
That's some. I went down that rabbit hole, and I'll never do it again.
I'm so sorry. Like,
never do it again.
Like,
that was years ago when I was in my 20s. I was traumatized. Very traumatized. I was traumatized when I heard. I was traumatized when I watched the documentary of Jim Jones. I was traumatized. That I will never. That's just like another one. Also, too, totally off subject. I will never watch Jasper, Texas ever again. That movie, especially in this climate, I'll never watch that movie ever again. Ever.
So is this the part where I tell you I'm from East Texas and I actually know the daughters of James Byrd? And yeah. So I don't have to watch it. I lived it. It was horrendous. It was horrendous. We had never I'll tell y'all that story later, but we never conceived that would happen. And you know that he knew the man that did that to him. And it's horrible.
Girl, you like being like dead serious right now.
Wow. I don't know. I don't know the story. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Oh yeah. James Byrd lost his life catching a ride with some friends, associates, home in a pickup truck, and they decided that it would be a great idea to tie him to the truck, and it went down from there.
Correct. They made a movie. So it's an old movie. It came out like back in like what 90 early to around either
right after it happened, maybe a little bit after it happened. I think that was like 94.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it was really early when they made that movie. But I of course had no business watching it, being a kid, going to the TV that don't have the child blocks on it. I know why they there now. But yeah, I watched it at like 9 or 10. And I was just like,
oh, Lord.
Oof, that's a lot. That's heavy.
The part about it is the movie is very graphic. So it's like it really messes with you to really realize how people really are. And it's like to realize that right now I'm paying for water because you're racist. That's crazy.
It's like I'm back to America's a knitter.
You're paying for food and water just because somebody wants you to have it. So now I'm paying $50 or more for gas, just like you are.
Because you fill up the tank. What? That's my rebellion. Hello. Why y'all look at me like that?
Honestly, chuckling at the unbelief.
I mean, but I mean, you bring up a really good point, right? Because I think the people that we're around, we did the episode and we were talking about cheating in relationships, and the people that we're around can really make or break us. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think there's enough conversations around who you spend time with. And, in the case of James Bird, something so innocuous as catching a ride,
Man.
really cost him his life. Much, much like Daveon Flanagan and Dominic Russo riding with their good friend Mackenzie Shirilla,
Catching a
who
ride.
decides that it's a great idea to go 100 miles per hour into a brick wall.
Get this,
And
y'all.
he just literally just riding in the car. Ain't nothing to do with it.
Hold on. This is what messed me up, y'all, when they told me the story. She alive. Just in case.
That's
Just in
crazy.
case. You're just now hearing the story. If you're just hearing the story, like some of us were when we started taping the show, she's alive.
And in
Alive
jail.
is crazy. Alive is crazy right now.
Get the jail. She alive. That's
She
the
is
equivalent of me
absolutely
saying that
alive.
America has a president that's a felon. None of these sentences make sense.
She went out for Halloween 2 months after the accident.
Yeah.
Took pictures, everything.
Oh, and she dressed up like a corpse too.
Yeah, like a corpse.
Oh yeah.
She,
Oh yeah. She
What?
was having big fun.
She
Yeah.
I did not just tell you.
It gets worse.
I know.
It gets
Wait,
worse.
I
I
want
went
to share her
outside to
prison
find the
pic.
audacity. I had to go out there and look for it. Cause do what?
yeah,
she
Do
dressed
what?
up like a corpse for Halloween.
she did.
Do what?
The photo op. Right. This
Mm-hmm.
story gets worse and
2
worse
months.
every
Hold on, wait a
time.
minute. Hold on, wait a minute. Wait. Let me make sure my millennial brain is processing this. Let me take this off where I can see. You're telling
You
me,
processed it.
you're telling me that you took 2 young men, one of them being a black young man, by the way, took 2 young men's life because she was driving. She was hold on. Let me make sure I'm calculating this correct because 2 plus 2 is equaling duck, and I don't like it. So you're telling me that she was driving, number one. These 2 young men died, and you go out 2 months later after the accident as a corpse?
Yeah. And posted it on social media. And that is, I mean, her social media presence is what ultimately was her demise, and
Downfall.
it's ultimately what got her sentenced, because they used all of that. And at first I was on the fence because I was like, okay, they're kind of using her social media, character against her. And what you portray on social media is not necessarily who you are in real life, right? But after I heard some of the recordings, this was not on the documentary. These were just recordings that the jail took of her talking to her parents. Now, after I heard some of those recordings, I was like, yeah, this chick is done. Like, it's something up with her. Like, she deserves to be where she is. Because at first I was just like,
Absolutely.
because the prosecutor was very like, he was just like using her social media platform more than anything else to me. But then after listening to those recordings, I was just like, yeah, this chick she's not only is she all the way out of it, her parents are gone. Like, her parents, I see why she's the way she is. I see where she gets it from, and why, like, there's no structure, there's no structure, there's no penalties for anything. There's no like she doesn't have to reconcile for anything. Like, her parents are just letting her do whatever she wants to do.
And making excuses for her. Her mom
And making
testified for her, or not testify, but like it was like a character witness for her. And only thing that she focused on was her daughter. And it was like you have framed her as this person, and she's not this person. Didn't acknowledge the two young men whose lives were taken. I think it was like the judge or somebody literally
The
had to be
judge.
like,
Yes,
"Are
the
you
judge
not
called
gonna-"
her out.
the people that died.
Mhm.
Like she took some people's lives.
The judge called her out, and she was, the judgment, made it know, like, you're not even talking about what happened to the people who passed away. You're not talking about the young men. And then the mother said,
You ain't got no
clue.
clue.
The other one, Donovan, he was a new friend. I didn't know him that well. And the judge was like, what? Like, are you serious right now? Like, and the mother was just like, I'm just going to sit down now. I was like, please sit down, because you're making it worse for your child now. Now you're just, this is her. This is what she looks like now.
That's her current day.
Little girl.
That's her prison photo. That's her prison image.
Yeah, she's in prison. That's why she looks like that. She's in prison.
She's like she could be the cousin to the Catch Me Outside girl.
Yeah.
You should have seen her out. You should have seen her out in the lashes that she had on. Like, it was definitely given, this ain't my culture.
Oh my God, play the clip. I can't. Go. You gonna play the clip?
No, I can't play the clip because I'm scared I'm gonna get a copyright strike.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Because it's a Netflix. It's a Netflix.
Okay, yeah, you
Yeah, they're serious about. They're an artist and they're serious about their stuff. But I mean,
wish our parents would have been more serious. 17 and your boyfriend 20? 17 after 16 before 18.
And they live together because she's so mature.
And they let that girl, man, Brody, look.
Yeah.
They was happy.
She's mature. It's okay. She's mature.
Today, that girl is a piece of ish. Yes, she is. But her parents are a steaming pile of ish. Because here's my thing. A child is only going to do what their parents actually teaches and instills in them. Oh, wow.
I approve that statement.
Thank you.
Heavy knitters.
Heavy knitting.
Heavy.
And I'm talking about them pins hurt when they do them. What I'm saying, at the end of the day, she became that because they allowed that. Like,
absolutely.
Hearing this story, like talking the Cliff Notes version, every inch of this is their fault. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care that you did your best. You didn't do enough. I don't care.
Yeah.
I am so sick of that rhetoric. I did the best that I can do. Well, guess what? Guess what? If some of y'all would have did better, my president wouldn't be a felon. But that's not the point. The point is that this is ghetto. All of this is ghetto. And what's more ghetto is Stephanie doing what she's doing because you're on here watching the vibe. Because America this is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I could do this all night. Y'all stop me. I could do this all night. But we won't. But you made a really good point, and I really want to bring that home in that, this parenting gig, and I'm nobody's biological parent, and we do have biological parents here. The parenting gig is not about it's not about having a baby. It's about raising the baby into a productive, positive human citizen. And I'll never forget, I had a conversation with one of my little baby god sisters, and she had gotten pregnant by this guy, and he had like 4 other kids already, and she was just 19 or 20. And I did ask her a question. I said, do you think you can raise this child? Do you think you can develop an adult? And she just flat out told me no. Like, she just was like, when you put it like that, I'm like, well, I ask real questions, because everybody else is like, oh, I got a baby. Babies grow. Did anybody here have a baby that stayed a baby? Because my 10-month-old puppy didn't even stay a baby. Sometimes I see pictures and I'm like, oh my God. And we get so enamored with the idea of a baby that we forget that the gig is to support baby becoming toddler, becoming adolescent, becoming teenager, it's all about the becoming. And what really pisses me off about parents like the Shirillas is that you're the type of parents that create Columbine type kids because they don't have any accountability. They don't have any accountability. And the more stuff you get away with, the more stuff you try to get away with.
Ooh, clock it. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
Can you repeat that one more time for the people in the back of the church that didn't catch it?
The more stuff you get away with, the more stuff you try to get away with. And the
Mm-hmm.
parent should be, and I'm not telling anybody how to raise their kid, but as I'm somebody's biological child, and I think I turned out all right. The gig is making sure that they have the tools. Now at some point, they gonna do what they want to do because that's part of their humanity. But when you just recuse yourself because you think your kid is cool, probably because you're living vicariously through them because you wanted to be that girl in high school, and so your kid running around here trying to be an influencer with the Prada bag that her now deceased cohabitating 20-year-old boyfriend bought her, you're failing.
Yeah.
You're failing. Anybody that upholds you in wrongdoing is failing you. Period.
And this
So
is
And
the
it
she's
should.
not
thing.
absolved of responsibility, but they also are not absolved of responsibility.
Oh, not
And
at
this is
all.
the thing. We keep talking about his age, but he was not the problem. He was
No, he
not the
was not.
problem. He was of
No,
sound mind, and from what we understand, I mean, of course, everybody when somebody passes over, they're an angel, right? But from what
true.
everybody
For
was
sure.
saying was that he was a responsible person. He was a cool
Absolutely.
dude. He was nice,
Absolutely.
everybody loved him and things like that. So it wasn't that he said he's 20. It's just that her parents were not present for her in the way that they needed to be to ensure that this girl had emotional stability, that she was grounded, that she was knew how to process her emotions if she got angry. And apparently he was trying to break up with her. I think that's what really drove her, no pun intended, drove her to do what she did.
Well, he
Because he
probably
was
got
trying
tired
to
of
leave her.
parenting her.
Yeah, he got
He
tired
probably
because
got tired
she's
of being
super
the parent.
immature.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, he was
absolutely.
dating a minor, so what did he really? Okay. I mean, are we
But
gonna
he's a
say that
minor
that's
too.
problematic?
20
No.
years old. 20 is not an adult in my opinion. 20 when I was 20, I was not. I'm sorry. 20
The
years
brain
old is
is
still
not
a
yet
kid.
fully formed, but there are
Yeah.
laws around that kind of thing. So, like in the eyes of the law, he's an adult and she's not.
And
Right. But
certain
Mm.
also
said that
her parents allowed her to move in with him. So
They did.
yes, he's 20, he's an adult, but he's still a child. So he's not going to be he's not responsible to say, I shouldn't be dating you. I shouldn't move in with you. It's her
He
parents'
is responsible to
responsibility
say that.
and his parents' responsibility to be like, she's too young for y'all to be living together. That's what I feel like. His parents should have stepped in, and her parents should have stepped in
but I also
because
will
they're
say
both
he's
children.
20, so he's technically legally grown. So when you're saying that his parents should have stepped in, I'm gonna be honest with you. Maybe I'm speaking from a biased point of view because I had my own apartment at 19. And I'm not talking about living on no campus. I had my own apartment, I had a vehicle that was paid for that I had to pay for. I had a full-time job and I had just started my career in makeup artistry. So at that point in time, I understood that responsibility. He was old enough to understand having his own apartment, paying bills and everything else. And I understand that. So there's at some point we got to take accountability. And he's still the victim. That does not change any of that. But he knew as a 20-year-old man, he did not have any business with a 17-year-old girl. I'm sorry. At the end of the
Well,
day,
they started dating in high school too, I think. I think they're
Yeah,
high
they
school
started
sweethearts.
dating. They didn't start dating when he was 20. So that's
Right.
not where the relationship
okay.
started.
But I hear your point. I definitely hear everybody's point on that. And you're right.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, he knew that he was 20 and he knew that girl was 17. Like that
Mhm.
the math ain't gonna change. That's just what it is. And for him to
Yeah.
think that he gonna go to his parents about a woman he want to date, no, that's unrealistic. It's not gonna. At 20, most of these people are not even thinking about bringing these women home to their parents. So it's like, you know what I'm saying. So
Well,
that never.
they
I
were
mean,
living with
Mhm.
his parents at first too. So that's why I'm saying, like, the parents are heavily involved in
They were
these kids'
involved.
relationship.
Both sides. Yeah.
So That's why I'm saying I could see if the parents didn't know about the relationship, but they were both sets of parents were heavily involved in these children's relationship. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying, because they both knew she's too irresponsible, she's too young and young-minded.
Hold on, you're not gonna keep like I knew what you just said. You just said.
This story legit gets worse and worse. It's so much worse.
Oh, that beautiful bean footage. What? Run that by me one more time. Do what?
Yes.
What did you just say?
Yes.
So the parents need a whipping. Is that what I'm?
That's what we're saying.
The parents need to be in prison. That's what I feel. I think that what they did should be qualified as neglect, because it was, and they all need to be in jail in a family cell. That's the only answer to all of this, because it was literally neglect. It was neglect. Yeah. And just because they were there doesn't mean that they were raising her. And so that's the only answer. That's the only answer I can come up with. They all need to be in prison.
Yeah, they do need to be in prison.
Yeah. If you raise a monster, I think you deserve punishment for that, because you unleashed that non-sensory monster, mean girl, egomaniacal fool on the world. And now two young men, say their names, Daveon Flanagan and Dominic Russo, are no longer with us because she lacked the tools, the decision making, the everything that was supposed to happen, the correction to be a decent human being. And she didn't do that by herself.
No guidance. No.
She didn't do that by herself. And so that being said, I think that's a perfect place for us to wrap this up. You know, we always have something to say. We never were going to say next. But what do I always say? Catch the vibe, check the vibe. Oh, and make sure that you watch the vibe. It's time for the vibe.